Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, here we go again with the... I don't understand. How does this happen every time? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Congratulations, everybody gets to see my YouTube studio. Let me see if I could get it on the right screen here. Give me a couple seconds. There we go. All right. Good morning. Good day. Hello, 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 and welcome back to another live stream. I don't understand how OBS changes my settings every time I open OBS. Like, I just don't understand. But nonetheless, good morning. Good day. How's everybody doing so far? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Morning or good day, depending on where you're from. Welcome back to another live stream. How's everybody doing so far this week? Morning, good morning, good morning. Gorgeous position here on CL. We are going to talk about that in a bit. Going to take some time and say good morning to the community first, and then we'll get into that conversation. Morning, good morning, good morning. Let's see who we have here today, and then we'll get into some information. Good morning, Saju. Good morning, Abdullah. Good morning, Darts. Good morning, Abjeet. Good morning, Vis. Good morning, Dylan. Good morning, Weapon. Good morning, Uturo. Good morning, Ubong. Good morning, Mr. Gangster. Good morning, Andrew. Good morning, Alexis. Good morning, Makio. Good morning, Bimel. Good morning, Francis. Good morning, Bravin. Good morning, Uday. Good morning, Mike. Harold, what's up? June 30 Trades, what's up? Duke, what's up? Simo, good morning. Maya, good morning. Nelson, good morning. Govna, good morning. Leslie, good morning. Alex, good morning. Pierre, good morning. OGT, how are you doing today? Mo, good morning. Adlin, good morning. Al, good morning. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Khaled, good morning. Matthew, good morning. Hope everybody's week is going well. See how everybody's doing so far on the week. Throw a 1 in the chat if you're green on the week. Throw a 2 in the chat if you're red on the week. Throw a 3 in the chat if you have not yet taken a trade this week. Good morning, Tyree. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Issa. Let's see. Couple 1s, couple 2s, majority 3s. Good morning, Tatiana. Hope everybody's week is going well. Hope everybody's day is going well. We're going to get into a conversation here shortly. Just taking some time to say good morning to the community. See how everybody's doing today. Morning, good morning, good morning. So, beautiful long here on CL. I'm going to go ahead and recap this trade. Starting on the higher time frame, take a look. So, on the higher time frame, daily, where we get our bias, in my opinion, this is a bullish bias. Okay? The way that I determine a bias is I go to the daily chart, I look at swing highs, swing lows, or FVGs. What's providing a bullish bias here for me is the FVGs. Okay, so take a look at this bearish FVG here. We clearly invalidated it, right? When price closed multiple candles above it. When we invalidated it, we even created bullish FVGs. Okay, so in my opinion, due to that invalidation, due to the bullish FVGs being created, it looks like we're reaching higher for the equal highs, right? We also know that equal highs is one of our best draws on liquidity. So being bullish here on oil this morning, in my opinion, makes complete sense. Okay, so bullish bias means we would go to our hourly chart. That's the aligned time frame. And on the hourly chart, we would be looking for higher time frame points of interest to engage with a bullish bias. Very clear here that we have a bullish FVG to use as a higher time frame point of interest. Okay, so we tap into that bullish FVG. And once again, we have equal highs to aim at. These are relative equal highs, seeing that the right side is a failure swing, right? Low resistance liquidity. So a clear target or a draw on liquidity, in my opinion. Okay, so you have the higher time frame point of interest. You have a clear target. Then we get to the aligned lower time frame. And you can see that when we tap into the higher time frame point of interest, you get a swing low, a swing high, a new low, then a new high. Right? So we have all 4 points to create a bullish breaker. A bullish breaker is always going to be the highest up close candle before the leg down that took liquidity. So here's your bullish breaker here. Then we need displacement through the breaker with an FVG aligned with the breaker. You can see the FVG right here. You get candle closures above the breaker here. Right, so 6:30 a.m. would be the confirmation to this 5-minute bullish unicorn. And we're going to talk a little more about it in just a second. Let me finish the documentation. Right, this would be a breaker block plus an FVG, which equals unicorn. When we get an entry function, we would look to enter at the beginning of the breaker with a stop at the low, aiming for 2R. It provides multiple entries. I mean, a ton of entries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So much time to enter this. These are 5-minute candles. You had from 6:30 a.m. all the way until 8:30 a.m. You had 2 hours to recognize this, and then it goes and plays out. Beautiful entry function. It fits the logic in terms of our game plan and how we create our model. Very clear and decisive. A couple things that I want to talk about. Make sure everybody's aware of this and understands. First thing is institutional swing points. Okay. Institutional swing points. Institutional swing points must be swing highs or swing lows. a swing high can be equal highs. See how you have equal highs right here? Look at the 550 candle and the 555 candle. Those are equal highs. Equal highs can be a swing high as long as it still fits the definition of a swing high, right? So you need to have lower highs on each side of it. So see the 545 candle and the 6 a.m. candle, how they are lower highs compared to the equal highs? That's what confirms that this is still a swing high. So I want to make sure we're clear on the definition of institutional swing points. Equal highs can be a swing high as long as it fits the definition of a swing point. Same exact thing goes for swing lows, right? You can see here that the swing low is an equal low. And it is, in fact, a swing low because on each side of it, it has higher lows. Okay, so first things first, I want to confirm that everybody understands institutional swing points. Institutional swing points needs to be a swing high or a swing low. So each one of the swing points of the setup needs to be a swing low or a swing high. Right, so swing low, swing high, new swing low, new high. You need to have all four of those institutional swing points to create a breaker block. That's the first thing. Second thing is identifying a stronger entry function versus a weaker entry function. And this is what would identify it right here. Notice how the FVG acted as a breakaway gap before you get an entry, right? This FVG was not rebalanced before you get an entry. You understand what I'm saying? They left this FVG open. This shows more strength in terms of the entry function than if they rebalanced this FVG before you got your confirmation to the entry function. You see what I'm saying? This looks like a stronger entry function than if they rebalanced the FVG beforehand. Right? Because the first time you get an entry would be here. Okay, so just a couple key points that I wanted to point to before we got into any live price action. This was a beautiful entry model. This is our entry model, the unicorn model, and there's certain logic that goes into this decision making that needs to be pointed out. And it was those institutional swing points and the FVG being left open before you get an entry. Keep those in mind when you go to enter any entry function, right? Because those are the things that determines probabilities. Okay? If anybody took this CL long, throw a W in chat. I'd be curious to know if anybody was able to capture this W. Throw a W in chat if you were able to capture this CL long this morning. Beautiful, beautiful position there. And the strength was shown. Yes, it took a while to play out. But if you're the individual that's doing a fixed 1 to 2 risk to reward, right? Although it took longer to play out, it never went anywhere near invalidation. It went to plus 2R before it went to the stop loss. So if you're the individual that does a fixed 1 to 2 risk to reward, you were rewarded on this one. So very good job for anybody that took that W. DeWitt, looks like DeWitt was able to take the W. Very good job. Very, very good job. Now we'll get over to NQ and ES. Did this take out the low? This does look like it's forming a bullish unicorn right this moment, actually. Let's take a look. Yeah, it took out the low. ES putting in a higher low, so that looks like SMT. This thing's going to end up running without us, right? Right off the open. Take a look here. Thing's running without us. Take a look. Already at 2R. What a shame. What a shame. I mean, look at this candle. What are they doing here? They decide to just sprint it higher right off the open. Beautiful. Great. Go ahead. Just leave us in the dust. I mean, what even? This is a 100-point candle, pretty much. 90-point candle in the first 2 minutes. First 5 minutes, sorry. But what a move. Right off the open. Is anybody able to take advantage of the longs here? I mean, you'd have to front run this, right? Like, there's no... The entry function wasn't even confirmed. So you'd have to be front running this without any type of confirmation. Okay, some people were able to take advantage of it. Congrats if you did. Well, I'm going to go through my analysis either way. The first thing that I have to say about this was, look how clearly bullish we are. I mean, the bulls have been in control for some time now. We got a change in the state of delivery down here. And when we did that, ever since then, we've just been running higher. We've just been running higher. I'm taking a look at chat. Let me just confirm something for everybody. If you took this position, you're not trading the unicorn model, right? The confirmation to a unicorn, right? An FVG being aligned with the breaker block would happen in another 2 minutes. Okay, let me just, sorry for rewinding real quick, but I see some comments. Let's just be clear real quick. If you entered this long, you're not using the unicorn model. And that's okay. I'm not saying that that's wrong. You as an independent thinker have to execute yourself. You have to understand how you enter the market. And if that's how you enter the market, so be it. But just know the difference between what is a unicorn and what is not a unicorn. That's all I'm saying here. All right, this is not a confirmed unicorn. Right? A unicorn is a stop hunt, which happens right here. Right? So you get the stop hunt when price runs below the initial swing low. Then it's a breaker block, which happens right here when price displaces through the breaker. And then you need an FVG to be aligned with the breaker. So you need all three of those things to be confirmed for it to be a unicorn. Right? So since you entered before that confirmation, this is not a unicorn. But nonetheless, I'm not saying what's right or wrong. I'm just pointing out the difference between what is a unicorn and what is not. So congratulations on who did catch the W. Phenomenal job on the longs. Just simply pointing out the difference. That's all. Very happy for you guys. Just want to make sure we know the difference. Going back to the higher time frame analysis, this is what I was going to do. Was we we spoke about long-term purchases. We spoke about long-term purchases in the beginning of April. Okay. Due to maximum fear. Maximum fear is a time to be looking at long-term investments, right? Anytime you see them on social media talking about a recession, you should be getting ready to get into long-term investments, right? So where are all those individuals that were screaming recession during all of the tariff news, right? I mean, maybe it's just me, but maybe that was the shortest recession we've ever seen in history, because now we're going back to new all-time highs. So when you see times of maximum fear, start looking for long-term investments, right? Because here's the limit down days right in here. These were the limit down days. That's when they were screaming recession, trade war, China news, blah, 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 right? That's just them inducing fear, right? I really don't care what happened in terms of politics or agendas or decisions or economics. I'm just talking about trading here. And what I'm saying is, during times of maximum fear, that is when you should be looking at purchasing long-term investments. So I don't care what happened with the tariffs. What I do care about is positioning myself long-term every time somebody starts screaming recession, right? Because if you were to have positioned yourself long-term when they were screaming recession, you're now looking at, you're now looking at plus 15% on a long-term position, which is pure gold. Pure gold to be making plus 15% in this market. Okay, so just trying to point out some things, some logic, some, narratives that occur within the marketplace that we need to be aware of. Because you can go back to other times in which they tried implementing max fear as well, right? If we go back to COVID, right? Yeah, sure. We had a huge drop. I understand that part. But if you got in during the COVID era, right? If you bought any type of long-term purchases during this maximum fear event, look at where we're sitting. Look at this. This was another maximum fear event, right? Let's say we were horrible at trading and we bought the top, right? We'll go from the beginning of COVID. Start it from the top of COVID. And we had to deal with all that drawdown, right? Imagine we bought it at the beginning of COVID, so the top of this gray box. But now look at where we are, plus 80%. Are you kidding me? Really, the only point that I'm trying to make is maximum fear equals long-term investments. That's all I'm getting at here. Want to make sure everybody's aware of that logic. Okay. So now to get into some bias or game planning for day trading. Okay. This should help with some of the questions. Sorry for the little rant, but I needed to go over that information because look at where we're sitting now. You need to be able to understand long-term investments along with day trading because we need to diversify. Okay, we need multiple sources of income. That's what that would be. Your day trading should be the income that you generate to create those long-term positions. Okay. Now I can get over to some of the questions. Sorry for the rant. Question from Matt about the bias. On the daily and on the hourly today, there was bearish SMT, but change in state of delivery was bullish on both daily and hourly. What is your decision-making process in this scenario? My decision-making comes from the daily. Okay. In my opinion, it's very clear how strong the bulls are right now. I'm not interested in shorts. The hourly is not where I get my decision making. The daily is where I get my decision. Right? And right now, the daily continues to keep displacing higher. Every time we go above a swing high, right, a location to have a bearish bias, every time we go to a swing high, we're creating bullish FEGs. Right? So it's very clear in terms of bias that we are displacing higher. If we are creating bullish FEGs, I want to be on the same side as the bulls. I want to be using the most recent information is what that comes down to. And these bullish FEGs are more recent than these swing highs. Okay, so in my opinion, I'm still bullish, and I'm going to remain bullish because of the most recent information. Now, the next portion of that conversation is the same thing that I was just talking about on that CL chart. On CL, when you have an FEG that is left open, it acts as a breakaway gap. When an FEG is left open, that is one of your strongest forms of momentum. Look at these FEGs on the daily. This FEG was left open. Right? So I understand that this FEG is not confirmed yet. So even if you want to only use confirmed information, right? Because all three of these candles are closed. So it is a confirmed FEG. Look at how price never retraced back to this FEG. It's just continuing higher. So seeing how strong the bullish momentum is right now, that's what makes me say I would remain bullish and continue to stick with the trend. The trend is your friend until the end of the trend. So going back to the question, on the daily and the 1 hour today, there was bearish SMT, but change in the state of delivery was bullish on both daily and the hourly. What is your decision-making process in this scenario? My decision-making process would be to use the daily chart to guide my decisions, to make those decisions, and I use swing highs, swing lows, and FEGs for bias, how I create a decision moving forward. And right now, the decision I would make is using the most recent information. And that most recent information right now are breakaway gaps on the daily chart. That sounds like a lot of bullish momentum. So I would stay on the side of the bulls. The trend is your friend until the end of the trend. Very good question. Right, so for example, take a look at this right here. Get a bearish unicorn right here. Now, there's multiple reasons why I would not take this position. One, notice how the FEG was already rebalanced before you get confirmation to the setup. That's the first thing. Second thing is the higher time frame bias. Everything that I just explained from the daily chart. I'm not willing to go against the higher time frame order flow. I would not take this short because of that. This right here. Higher time frame order flow is bullish. Not willing to take this short because of that. And look at what happens. It goes and hits the stop loss. Right? So here we are again, sitting in the same scenario. Bearish unicorn just got confirmed. Right? Here's a bearish unicorn. I'm not willing to take this position. I will not be shorting this. Simply because of the higher time frame logic. The bears are in control. I'm going to stick with the trend. The trend is your friend until the end of the trend. I don't care if this works out. I'd rather understand the logic that goes into my decision making. I'd rather have a cause and effect relation to understand why I do things. And that relation right now would be higher time frames extremely bullish. For that reason, I'm not willing to short. So we can go ahead and watch this. Sure, that's completely fine. Just understand that I will not be touching this for the reasons that I just said. On top of the amount of risk that is here, look at this. You'd have to go like this. There's a lot of points. 93 points. No, thank you. No, thank you. So hear me clearly. I will not be touching this for all of the reasons that I just stated. But we're going to go ahead and watch to see if that logic that I'm stating is correct or not. We'll go ahead and see if that is valuable logic. While we do that, I'm going to go ahead and document the CL position real quick. A few seconds. Few more seconds, almost done with the documentation. Do me a favor, if you're finding any value in this information, if you're finding any value in these live streams, like the video, sub to the channel. If you're curious to why you can't communicate with us here in chat, it's because you haven't subbed to the channel. So like the video, sub to the channel. We've been live streaming for multiple years at this point, so if you're finding any value in it, a like or a sub is greatly appreciated. almost done with the documentation. Alrighty. And so we got another 20 minutes. I am going to wrap up the live stream at 10:15 New York time. That way I have a couple minutes before the My Funded Futures live stream. I have been going live on My Funded TV at 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Monday through Friday. So that is another opportunity to gain more experience with me, to continue to keep working and learning every single week. So I will need about 15 minutes to prepare for that live stream as well. So if you guys want to follow me on over there, we'll get some more time in, some more questions and answers, and continue to keep going over information. So for the next 20 minutes, let's go over some questions and comments while we watch this position. If you have any certain question or comments that you want to go over, feel free to throw it in chat now. Looks like NQ provided an entry. Looks like ES did not. You get the stop hunt here. Lowest down close candles before the leg up that took liquidity here. But it never retraced back to the unicorn before sending it lower. So let's see if NQ wants to run lower from there or not. NQES daily, there is SMT and consolidation on the 1 hour. Am I correct? Take a look. So NQ took out previous day high. ES did not take out previous day high. Very good job. That is bearish SMT. All right, you can see it right here. ES did not take out previous day high. NQ did take out previous day high. That is a crack in correlation. That is bearish SMT. Very good job, Utura. And yes, hourly consolidation. I agree with that. All right, we're kind of just consolidating in this tight range here. Same thing here on ES. Range trading. I agree with that statement. Very good job, Utura. How do you validate the unicorn FVG? The FVG needs to be aligned with the unicorn. Doesn't matter how much it's aligned, it just simply is aligned with the breaker or it's not, right? So you can see it right here. An FVG is a 3-candle pattern. 1, 2, 3. Where the first candle and third candle do not overlap. The portion that is not overlapped is the FVG. So see this small gray box here? That is what the FVG is. If the FVG is aligned with the breaker, then that's what a unicorn is. Breaker block plus an FVG. Can we take today as search and destroy? Let's see if, go out to here. Did London, yeah, looks like London took out Asia high and low. Yep. Very good job. So when thinking about a consolidation profile, if London takes out Asia's high and low, that would give insight to a search and destroy or a consolidation profile. So yes, very good job. London did take Asia's high and low, so I would consider it to be a consolidation profile. That is the thing that shows me whether it will or will not be a consolidation profile. right? And just understand that that's a probability, right? Probabilities can work. They could also fail. So it's just a framework in which you view price. Doesn't mean it's a guarantee. It means it's logic that you use to develop probabilities. $9:20 or 9 a.m. 5-minute bearish candle. Please confirm. It would be this candle right here, the 9:25 candle. This would be the bearish breaker, the lowest down close candle before the leg up that took liquidity. It would be the 9:25 5-minute candle. That would be the bearish breaker. If the position you take lasts longer than the kill zone, will you take the profit or wait until you reach your target? I trade New York AM, so I look to participate at 9:30. If the position goes into the PM session, I will hold the position until it reaches the target. If the position does not reach the target before the market closes, then I'm manually closing no matter where the position is. Very simple to understand. Majority of prop firms do not allow you to trade overnight. That's the reasoning why, right? I trade prop firms, so I'm not allowed to hold positions overnight. So if it does not reach the target by 4 p.m. New York time, doesn't matter where the position is, I'll close it. No reason to, go against the rules of the account that you're trading in. Follow the rules so that payouts do not get denied. Another SMT question. If NQ takes the high, but ES makes an equal high to the tick, it does not take out the high, does that still count as SMT? Yes. Yes, it does. Now, in my opinion, I don't want to be using information that is not clearly defined, right? So like in that scenario, I'd rather just sit on the sidelines, right? I'd rather it be very clear that there's SMT. I don't want there to be questions. I don't want it to be debatable. I want it to be so clearly defined that you cannot miss it, right? So for example, the daily chart is very clearly defined. It is for a fact easy to see that NQ took out the previous day high, and it's very easy to see that ES did not take out the previous day high. This is SMT that I would want to use, right? Anytime information is debatable, not easy to recognize, I'd always rather side on the side of caution and patience than forcing myself upon the market. So in that situation, just use information that you can clearly define, right? So this one, it's very clear that ES did not take out the previous day high, whereas NQ did. This is what I would want to be using for bearish SMT. So being a daily bearish SMT will not change your daily bias to bearish. SMT is not the way that I create bias. So no, that does not change my bias. I do not create a bias from SMT. I use swing highs, swing lows, and FVGs to create my biases. It's going to remain that way. Do you use kill zones? Yes, I trade New York AM session. If one wants to learn some major fundamentals, what to focus on. So the first thing that I would say is choose a defined time to analyze. So the first fundamental to focus on would be time, right? So for example, if you were to show up to the chart and start analyzing at 9:30 a.m. every single day, right? New York Open is a very important time. That is a fundamental to price action. The public is allowed to start trading the stock market at 9:30 a.m. That is a fundamental to the stock market. Then you can start analyzing what occurs at that time. What is a repeatable pattern that you can see and identify during that specific time? So time would be the first fundamental that I would focus on. Set a specific time that you analyze. And in my opinion, that specific time should be the opening times, right? Asia Open, London Open, New York Open. Next fundamental that I would look at is draw on liquidity, right? It's essentially the same thing as my game plan. Time is the most important element. Draw on liquidity is the second most important element, then entry function. What does price reach for, right? In terms of fundamentals, what is something that keeps happening that price reaches for? In my opinion, that's relative equal highs, right? Right here. Relative equal highs or equal highs. And notice I'm pointing to this as a relative equal high. And what I'm going to say here is the right side is a failure swing. So equal highs should look like this, right? The right side should always be the failure swing. This is not equal highs right here. When the right side is higher than the left side. So another fundamental would be, what is price reaching for? So time being first, and then draw on liquidity being second, right? For example, a lot of people use Asia as a form of liquidity. Asia session, they use that as their draw on liquidity. So now let's put those two fundamentals together and then collect the data on it. At New York Open, does price normally reach for Asia session liquidity? Collect as much data on that as you can. See what happens with it. So fundamentals to look for is time and draw on liquidity, is what I would say. If NQ took previous day high and ES failed to take previous day high, does it indicate a bearish move? No, see, and this is why SMT does not give me a bias. There's many times SMT doesn't work properly. SMT does not indicate order flow. It's just the market tipping its hand saying, hey, something might happen here. That's it. It doesn't indicate order flow. This is why I didn't take this bearish setup. I explained that the higher time frame is extremely bullish. It's extremely bullish. You can see the order flow because they're creating breakaway gaps every chance they can. Look at these bullish FVGs. That bearish SMT on the daily means nothing compared to this momentum right here. That's why I don't use SMT to create a bias. What I use to create a bias are FVGs and swing highs and swing lows, right? Market structure. The market structure is clearly bullish. That's the reasoning why I keep saying I'm not interested in any shorts. And that's what we're analyzing here this morning. There is a bearish unicorn on the chart on both ES and NQ. And I explained that I will not be taking this short because of the higher time frame order flow. I don't care that there's bearish SMT on the daily chart. Right now, what's more important is how clear the displacements are higher. SMT is not a standalone trigger. It's just confluence to an idea. Bias comes from understanding what price is drawing towards. If you want additional confirmations to that, that's when you use SMT. SMT is not a standalone, okay, there's SMT on the chart, so I have this type of bias. Also, very valuable information from Tyree. Thank you, Tyree, for all of the answers. It is beyond appreciated. Yes, when we look for swing highs or swing lows, the middle candles need to have the high or the low, right? So here's a swing high right here, right? So candle 1, candle 2, candle 3. The middle candle always needs to be the high or the low. Candles surrounding, right? So number 1 and number 3 have to have lower highs compared to number 2. This is what a swing high is. Same thing goes for swing lows, right? Take a look at this candle as number 1. Take a look at this candle as number 2. Take a look at this candle as number 3. This is a swing low right here. Swing low. So a swing high or a swing low. The first candle and third candle need to have higher lows. Do you use macro times sometimes, or is it just all about kill zones in general? I participate at New York Open. In my opinion, macro timing is just an hourly candle opening or closing. So I don't really submit to the idea of macros. It's just an hourly candle opening or closing. Right? So, for example, I participate at New York Open. So if I'm looking for my entry function to occur after 9:30, right, it's most likely going to occur during the 10 a.m. candle open or close. So call it whatever you want to. I don't call it macro timing. I just look for my entry function at New York Open. That's all that I do. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and wrap up the stream. I do have another stream coming up here at 10:30. So I need just a couple moments to grab a new cup of water, maybe a quick snack. That way I could be prepared for the 10:30 to 11:30 stream on My Funded TV. You guys want to continue to keep working and learning this morning? Follow me on over to that live stream. I also want to say thank you. I really greatly appreciate all the questions and comments. Getting to go over this information is providing a lot of value for myself and everybody else that is here. Okay, so thank you for everybody that participated today. Every time that we get to go over these questions, it's providing more conviction, it's providing more experience, it's giving us that educational value that we need to obtain each day. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're looking to communicate with me on a more personal level, I have the Discords. There's a free Discord. That's the public one. Anybody could join that. And then we have the premium Discord. That's where I do direct mentorship. That's Unicorn University. for anybody that's looking for a direct mentorship, check out Unicorn University. We have unicornuniversity.com. See it right here. Oop. See it right here. This is where I'm directly mentoring people that are looking for direct mentorship. Okay, so doing as much as I can with the public side of things, providing as much value as I can. And for the people that want direct mentorship, we have the mentorship there too. So thank you for your time. Do me a favor, like the stream, sub to the channel. Let's continue to keep relentlessly working and learning every single day. I hope everybody has a great day, and I'll see you in about 15 minutes over on the other stream. Have a nice day, everyone.